A peaceful day to all of you. I am teacher Chinky Carandang, one of the formators of Teach Peace, Build Peace movement. I am also one of the founders of Creative Learning Path School, a progressive school that advocates for peace education. Today, we will learn more about the restorative practice, what it is, why use it, its benefits, and why it is a powerful tool for peace. Let's begin by answering this question. Think about it. When somebody hurts you, what do you want to happen to that person? Choose one from the two choices: punishment or accountability. What is accountability in context of the restorative process? It is taking responsibility for your action or behavior and to repair the damage. Taking responsibility means understanding the effect of the incident to others, acknowledging that the behavior that was done resulted from a choice or decision that could have been made differently. It is also acknowledging to all affected that the behavior was harmful to others, taking action to repair the harm, if possible, making changes plans to avoid such behavior in the future. The dictionary defines punishment as the infliction or imposition of a penalty as retribution for an offense. Simply put, if you do something bad, there is a consequence. But it ends there. The usual practice in schools is that there is a set of rules and regulations, and if broken, infractions are given. There is nothing wrong with that. It is just limiting in a way because it does not stop the offender from doing it again. Is there real accountability? Is the victim able to seek genuine justice? Think about it. In the table of punishment versus accountability, it shows the impact of accountability and punishment to those involved. For the victim, if we choose accountability, she has a chance to express how he or she felt about the incident to the person responsible. There is an opportunity for justice. If we choose punishment, if we practice just giving punishment, the victim has no say. In terms of, in regard with the perpetrator, he or she is able to hear firsthand of the effect of what he or she did to the person. Opportunity to be accountable and to change is there. With the punishment, the perpetrator just accepts the punishment. There is no face to face, there is no accountability in a way that the perpetrator doesn't see the impact of what he or she did. So, what is the effect? Studies show that there is a greater chance of transformation when there is accountability. And with punishment, he or she can just do it again. Also, studies are showing now that by using restorative practices in school, suspension rates are reduced, less referrals outside the classroom, there is improved attendance, less number of fights, and generally a decrease in student misbehavior. So, what is the restorative practice? Why are we doing this? When we make use of the restorative practice, it is viewing wrongdoing through a relational lens. It is understanding that harm has been done to people and relationships. It is understanding when harm is done, it creates obligations and liabilities. Lastly, it is focusing on repairing the harm and making things right. It supports existing practice of building, maintaining, and mending relationships of students from chaotic homes. They are taught how to deal with conflict in non-violent ways, and consequently, they may be able to apply the same at home. It teaches students consequences. It gives a voice to students and staff who are victims in an incident. Let's look at the restorative matrix. Let's start with number one. It has a high adherence to the rules. It is punitive and authoritarian. It is doing things to each other. The effect is blaming, and stigmatizing. Imagine a student being forever labeled and defined by an action and is not given an opportunity to change. Next, let's look at number two, low adherence to the rules and low support. This is not doing things to or for or with each other. Basically, you will just turn a blind eye and let students survive on their own. This is being indifferent and uninvolved. Let's go to number three, restorative. It is doing things with each other. It is cooperating, being accountable, and collaborative. As you can see in the matrix, it is high in adherence of the rules and high on support. When we look at number four, it is high on support, low on adherence for the rules. It is doing things for each other. It is permissive, rescuing, making excuses. There is no accountability. Take a pause and look at the restorative matrix. In your peace journal, reflect and answer the following. What do you choose to be in the restorative matrix? Why did you choose this? Some things to think about when we do the restorative practice. I hope that we are on the same page with this. Can we agree on discipline is needed for order to happen? This enables the teaching and learning to happen with relative disturbance. It is important that children experience consequences when breaking rules or boundaries. As a teacher, we have influence, whether positive or negative, in the development of character and is achieved depending on the quality of relationship we have with the learner. When we look at developmental milestones, until the student reach early adulthood at the age of 21, boys mature longer, so this can be till age 23. We have to accept the reality that our students will make bad decisions, that they are impulsive, Can we do this slide again? Okay. Can we also agree on the brain is not fully developed until early adulthood? Impulsive behavior is common. What we do, how we interact, and what we do regarding disciplinary situations can affect the new neural pathways that will lead to new habits. When we look at the developmental milestones until the students reach early adulthood at the age of 21, boys mature longer, so this can be till age 23. We have to accept the reality that our students will make bad decisions, that they are impulsive. They are still making sense of the world, so it is up to us on how to deal with disciplinary issues. What do we want to model? What do we want them to learn and carry on in their adulthood? This is something you have to think about as an educator. The school policy is integral in making the restorative practice effective. In our school, the restorative practice is explicitly included in our handbook. It is part of our policy in dealing with misbehavior. Since this is a consistent practice, we see more relationships that are repaired and accountability is more evident in our students. When the restorative practice is being used, it makes learning easier to happen since students feel they are in a safe place where they can put their trust in their classmates and teachers. Lastly, you are not alone. Seek help from your colleagues and administrators. Remember, your school is your community, your family. It is okay to ask help when you are feeling overwhelmed. So let's start. Are you ready to practice and do the restorative chat? So, first, if a conflict occurs between two children, apply restorative practice. It is a response to inappropriate behavior that puts repairing the harm done to relationships and to people over and above the need for assigning blame and dispensing punishment. Deciding outcomes. You have to think who are the people you need to consider: the victim, the wrongdoer, bystanders, the teachers, the parents, the school. What do you want for each of them? They may need reassurance, they need to feel safe, have materials replaced, meet obligation, take responsibility, learn from the experience. And what do they need from you? Clarity about boundaries and limits, explanation of decisions, support to be on hand, space to be heard, invitation to help solve the problem. So, as you can see, everyone is part of making the solution. You are there to facilitate and to help and to provide the support needed or to give recommendations. The restorative chat. When practicing the restorative chat, you have to remove your biases and listen with an open mind. Practice active listening here. Your personal opinions should not influence your line of questioning. Remember, the goal is for the people involved to have accountability, to repair the damage that has been done and restore relationships. Just to warn you, this will not be perfect on your first try. It is a work in progress. The more you use it, the more comfortable you will be. The next thing the next thing you know, it will be second nature to you. And some things to consider and accept. As much as we want the relationship to be repaired immediately, there are instances that both parties need time before they can face each other. Let us respect that and not force them. This is a process and not an overnight solution. So, samples of what you can ask or talk about in the restorative chat, as seen on the slide, to the person who caused harm. We're here to talk about, can you tell us what happened? What were you thinking? What was in your head, in your mind? To the person's harm, what did you think when it happened? What have you thought about since? What is needed to make it right, make you feel better? And then to the persons who caused harm, is that fair? Can you do that? What else do you need to do to make things better? How can you fix this? To the person harmed, is that okay? Do you agree? Is that fair? As you can see, both parties have a say. They have they have they both are invested in it. To both. How can we make sure this doesn't happen again? Is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything else you would like to say? And make sure to formally record the agreement, congratulate them for working it out, and then arrange time to follow up. Meet again and see how things are going. With the restorative chat, it is important to have a follow up to see how things are going. Let's practice. My homework for you during your free time: use what you have learned about the restorative practice to solve these two scenarios. What would you do? What would you say? How will you use the restorative chat? Write it down in your peace journal. Another option is to make a video. You can make a step by step instructional video on what you will do. It's up to you on how to answer these two scenarios. As a final note, our actions have consequences as seen in this video. What you choose to do, how you help, how are there to you are there to champion your students. Ay, can you repeat mali yung sinabi ko? Sorry. As a final note, our actions have consequences as seen in this video. What you choose to do, how you help, how you are there to champion your students does not end with you. These simple acts of peace, heroism becomes a chain reaction. Remember, what you sow is what you reap. Plant those seeds of peace in your students, and they will bloom and spread. And next thing you know, our world will become a better and kinder place to live in. Thank you and have a peaceful day.